Now, we'll take a look at how large corporations, from big tech to consumer goods, are turning to the public to crowdsource ideas to remain innovative and develop new products. We're pleased to have Leigh Radford here with us today. She is Vice President and General Manager of P&G Ventures. It's an entrepreneurial group within P&G focused on new brands, technologies, and business models. So Leigh, thank you so much for joining us.
It is great to be here.
Wonderful. So let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
P&G is more than, 180 years old and has a huge portfolio of billion-dollar brands from Crest to Head & Shoulders to Tide to Olay, just to name a few. But a few years ago, senior leadership thought it was important to find new sources of innovation. So what drove the creation of P&G Ventures?
Well, it's exactly that. We're approximately 3 years old, and it was exactly to drive new revenue growth for the company. But it was really using a different model, which is to be in service to entrepreneurs. And our focus is in creating the next billion-dollar brand for the company. And it's really to solve those key unmet needs of consumers. The history of P&G over 180 years is we have created new categories almost once a decade. New categories such as disposable diapers or Swiffer or Febreze. And so we don't focus on categories that we're in today. P&G Ventures only focuses on new category or new brand creations where we don't currently play. So that makes it a lot easier. So all of us are committed to innovation within the company. We just focus on new revenue growth and new brands and categories. And of course, our business units continue to fuel innovation in their own.
So as you mentioned, you're working in that white space,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
Where there are currently no products or services. In my previous life, I worked in new product development at a major company, I won't name the company, Fortune 500, and I recall the pushback we would receive when we put out ideas for new products and services, and my colleagues would say, well, everything's going fine. What is this? What are you doing? And we received a lot of pushback. Did you receive any of that initially with the start of this new group?
No, because I think a couple things that we've done is we really try to stay out of the crosshairs of the current business. And this is about new incremental growth for the company. We're committed to innovation. And so we're a startup studio. And what that startup studio means is we partner a lot inside and outside the company to find those new brands and businesses. But there really wasn't much pushback at all. A lot of things that I have focused on is getting to yes. So finding new ways within a big company to get there faster. And if we can't get there faster, we go externally to make sure that agility is part of our plan.
Definitely. So how does P&G Ventures fit into the overall R&D arm? Is there a constant communication, or you provide quarterly updates? How does that work?
So the way that we work is we report into a board of advisors, which includes Cassie Fish, who's our CTO. And it's really important, I think, for any internal venture organizations that are building new businesses to have a line up to the senior leadership of the company. And that's really important. So we're always aligned on how we're thinking about it. We also make sure that we take from the outside, meaning that take the best of what's on the outside, but also pull the best of what P&G can bring. So we work very closely with the R&D organization and the organization in general, because that's the advantage I think that P&G Ventures has, because it brings the best of startups and the best of P&G and brings them together.
Now, you mentioned to me backstage, this is sort of a coming out event for you, so to speak, for P&G Ventures, to let people know who you are and what you're all about. Has this group allowed P&G to take more risk, being a little undercover, working with entrepreneurs, and not put any of your billion-dollar brands at risk, per se?
Yes, I take risk every day, and so does my team. And that's part of bringing entrepreneurship into a large company. But we know specifically the type of risk that we're willing to play. And like I mentioned, if we feel that the risk is appropriate, but probably not right within the company, we seek outside to do it outside. To make sure that we are being competitive with agility and risk-taking to create these new businesses, which is different. How brands are being launched today is very, very different than they used to be launched.
And the ability to remain nimble. So this allows you.
Agility is key. Yeah.
Definitely. So we spoke earlier, and you talked about how P&G Ventures differs from the traditional crowdfunding model. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of different crowdfunding that's out there and a lot of different models. So what P&G Ventures does is provide a unique opportunity that brings the best of P&G with startups. So a lot of the partnerships we have, so we run a portfolio of startups, so that's to make sure everyone kind of understands how we operate. And the way that we do that is just to ensure that we bring the agility to the business, as well as making sure we're partnering outside. So other models is it's not straight venture funding. So we're not a venture arm of the company. We literally get hands deep with the entrepreneur. We're an entrepreneur first model. So we really work with entrepreneurs. So if it's an early brand, early inventors, or early folks that are just starting with some initial IP. So we do a lot of work on university campuses to find these early tinkerers, those early inventors who are looking to what P&G can uniquely bring. And what P&G uniquely brings are things such as, really driving IP, building moats around propositions, regulatory help, R&D, making it very consumer facing, and brand building and insight development. So that is it's really a hands-on approach, which I think is unique and different to another choice for entrepreneurs in today's world.
So they're able to leverage the P&G infrastructure.
Exactly,
so to speak,
exactly.
To iterate quickly and adapt to market conditions. Yeah. Okay. So P&G has 5 areas of focus, P&G Ventures, and one of them is this concept of the non-toxic home. Can you expand on that a little bit? Yeah, so one brand I'd love to talk about is Zevo Insect. So we have a new brand that we're currently testing called Zevo, and what that is a key consumer need where consumers know that insect problem is a problem and a growing problem in today's world, but right now the only solution is toxic. And so this is a key unmet need that we're looking to solve, and that's what Zevo is positioned to do. So when we talk about non-toxic homes, we know there's a lot of trade-off. They want efficacy and high-performing brands, and they want them natural. But unfortunately, a lot of times the natural products aren't as effective. And so really taking science and technology of what P&G is really great on and finally knocking that on its head and providing high performance and natural products together to solve consumer problems. So how did Zevo come about? Did you work with a group of entrepreneurs?
Yeah. That was probably one of our first where we are open for business, and that's one thing I definitely want to communicate to the entrepreneurs that are out there. And this is a set of 2 different entrepreneurs, one on the West Coast who had an interesting trap, an insect trap that was really novel and it was non-toxic, and but it needed some help on driving the efficacy or the performance of the trap. And they came to P&G and said, hey, I think you can help us deliver the performance of this product. And then we knew we had a lineup. So we looked at other entrepreneurs, and there was some amazing technology that was rooted originally in Vanderbilt University. And we were able to find these entrepreneurs who had started a small company, and we developed a line of sprays that were also to a level of efficacy and performance. And so that's how it came to be, a true partnership with different startups on both coasts and bringing it together.
Let me just touch slightly on misconceptions. With being such a large company, and I don't know if you experienced this with Zevo, was there any reluctance to work with P&G Ventures due to the size of P&G and wondering, well, what happens to my company, my idea?
Yeah, I think there's some misperception. I think a lot of startups, think there's only one opportunity into P&G is like an acquisition. And right now, I think we're up to close to 11 different models of working with entrepreneurs. We do a lot of joint development, we do licensing, we do small acquisitions, but there's not one model. And so we really go entrepreneur first. We look to see what they're looking to do on their business or their product or their technology and say, how can we help you? How can we help you? And then it brings the best of what P&G does to help scale and develop the consumer proposition to create the next big billion-dollar brand, because that's what we're really about. Finding these amazing unmet needs with the great technologies are sometimes sitting out there with entrepreneurs and bringing it forward. But it's really in partnership. If I was to leave one word, it's the partnership with entrepreneurs, and there's not one way that we do that.
Looking at your current portfolio, which stage in the product cycle are most of your companies you're working with? Early stage?
All, we really focus more on early stage, pre-seed ideas, but not exclusively, but that's where the best value I think we can find because of the collaboration early on to try to find the product and concept fit that brings it together. And we also are really focused on the core spaces that we know at P&G we want to invest in. So we have a lot of things in our portfolio that solve similar problems because we're committed to solve the problem. And we also know there's higher risk within any entrepreneur venture. And so we make sure that we fall in love with the problem, not necessarily the solution, and then work with entrepreneurs to get to that end state of solving that problem for the consumers.
Okay. Now, I know recently P&G Ventures launched in China.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that and how it's going and whether the areas of focus differ from what you're looking at here in the U.S.?
Yeah. A lot of the work that we just launched. It's a small team within my team, and it focuses on the main consumer problems that are global. So a lot of things that we work on in the Cincinnati-based P&G Ventures is our global needs. So we do a lot of that work very early on. But we also know with China being such an important market to P&G and the consumers over there, we're also doing a double click for anything that is unique to China specifically. Plus, we're really interested. I mean, that is an amazing market in the entrepreneur space that is just really starting to take hold in a big way, and we want to be there.
That's great. Now, you mentioned that you have an entrepreneur in residence to help you all bring out ideas. Can you talk to us about how that's going so far?
Yeah, so my team is really a collection of P&Gers who really have a passion in this space, as well as freelancers and entrepreneurs in residence. And these individuals come in because they would love and they actually see the ability to learn more about a consumer product company. At the same time, it brings the outside in. So we also have a lot of freelancers that come in. So anything we can do to see the outside world and bring it into our company, we find critical for the success of ventures.
Okay. Well, one thing I want to focus on next is, innovation is at the core of any organization, especially a 180-plus-year-old organization. And you've had 2 internal crowdfunding P&G innovation initiatives, but you're ready to take it externally.
We are.
Now. So, Leigh, can you tell us about your new initiative, the 2019 P&G Ventures Innovation Challenge?
Yes, so we're very excited. We're announcing today, actually. We are, for the first time, going out to do an innovation challenge. It will be part of Procter & Gamble's presence at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas in January 2019. And we have a call to action for entrepreneurs to go to ventureschallenge.com. There we'll have, there's 8 different areas that are posted, and we are open for business. We will be taking the top 3 teams, bringing them to Las Vegas to present live at the P&G stage for a $10,000 cash prize. And so we're very excited to take this externally. It's interesting, the precursor of this is we have done it twice now within the company, and really has engaged the company and the employees at every level of bringing ideas into P&G Ventures as well. So taking it externally was really the next step to go.
So the winner receives $10,000, and they will be judged by a panelist of experts, one of which is David Cohen, founder and co-CEO of Techstars.
Yes.
And so what happens? You win, and what's next?
Well, you win. First of all, first we get the $10,000, which is great, but it's the ability to partner with us as a potential next billion-dollar business. So we will incubate the business with Techstars, and we will see where that goes. So, but the vision is that we believe ideas come from everywhere, and great ideas come from everywhere. And this is really the first time for us to go outside and say, hey, we want entrepreneurs to help solve the world's consumer products and hopefully create with us the next billion-dollar brand.
So the date for submission is the 25th
of November.
Now, are you accepting submissions from outside of the U.S. currently?
Currently, it's only U.S.
Okay. And will this become an annual thing you do at CES?
You know, one thing that as we do in ventures, we do a lot of pilots, and we're hoping this is something we continue, so we'll see how the first one goes.
Okay, and maybe next year expand it globally?
Well, we'll see how it goes.
So as we close, how does this innovation challenge amplify your mission to serve entrepreneurs?
It's about reaching out and saying we really are here to help and partner and to provide another opportunity for them to take their vision and their idea and their business or their technology and to create the next $1 billion for P&G. But it's really about solving the consumer needs globally, and that's what we're about. And you know, we're a company of innovation, but we do know innovation is being done differently, and we are loving to tap into the world entrepreneurs to help us make that happen.
Mm-hmm. I always like to ask, is there a question I didn't ask I should have? Any point you would like to share?
No, I think you covered. We're just thrilled to be here, and we're thrilled to partner with a lot of folks that I'm assuming will soon be identified, and continue to keep our vision going.